I'm Kerry Brett, and this is Shot at Love. Summer is upon us, temperatures are rising, the sun is out, and it's time to shine. Many dating app executives believe that this summer could be the summer of love. The summer singles have been anticipating. Today's guest is astrologer and psychic healer Jill Jardine, and she'll share the best times for singles to find love in the summer of 2022. In this week's episode, we'll discuss tips for meeting new people, the best places to find someone special, and how to start doing more things you love while creating new opportunities to find love. Jill will share which days are lucky for finding love and specific times that are more promising to meet someone special when we come back. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned. Jill Jardine is an astrologer, therapist, psychic healer, and spiritual advisor. She's a former radio personality on WATD and the host of the podcast Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. She's a Reverend in Sanskrit mantra. Chanting mantras shifts outcomes and proves to be an invaluable tool. For over 30 years, she's helped thousands of people find power and confidence within themselves while guiding them with important decisions. And it's no secret that people turn to astrology in the age of uncertainty and often look to the stars when dating. In today's episode, Jill will bring us up to speed to paint a picture of what will be happening astrologically this summer while sharing the best days to manifest a mate. Stay tuned until the end of the episode when I share Jill's optimal dates for making a love connection during the summer of 2022. So without further ado, welcome Jill Jardine.
Thank you, Kerry Brett. Great to be back on Shot at Love.
It's so great to have you back. So give us an overview of the summer of love 2022. What is the love forecast for this summer?
Well, this summer is going to be so uplifting compared to the last two summers. There are so many astrological indicators telling us it's go time. Get out there, connect with people, have some fun, and make a love connection.
So I want to talk about the new frequencies and the new energies that are upon us. People are more optimistic than previous months. What is cleared up astrologically, or why will people be more proactive this summer compared to past summers?
Well, what's going to be really interesting that early in the summer, and we're talking about June, July, August here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm going to be using Eastern Daylight Saving Times for these planetary transits, but on June 3rd, Mercury will be going direct. Now, coming out of May, which was a Debbie Downer month with two eclipses, April 30th, it was a solar eclipse in Taurus, and on the 16th of May was a heavy-duty lunar eclipse, full moon, blood moon, flower moon, super moon, lunar eclipse with the moon in Scorpio and the sun in Taurus. So that really gave us a whammy, and it was all during Mercury retrograde. So it was almost like cleaning up the house and emptying the garbage cans and cleaning up everything under the rugs. And now as we start June, Mercury goes direct, and there's a clean house for dating.
That's great. It was definitely a Wesak whammy.
Yes, it was.
I was under the bed. When will the lamb stop screaming? That eclipse was terrible. Heavy. I'm really susceptible to that energy, but that was a double whammy with the full moon and then the lunar eclipse, correct?
Yeah, I almost feel like May was the cleanup crew for 2022 came and really was like, okay, we're going to bring everything out of the closets, get all the dirt out, and let's take it to the cosmic dump. And that's why it was so intense, because this was all the energy culminating from January, February, March, April, in May. So now we get a reboot, we get a restart, and I think that the Mercury retrograde on the 3rd is going to be that marker of good times.
Who doesn't love good times in the summer? So the summer months will offer a time to reassess, change new directions, and reboot after that cosmic cleanup. Like Kali came into your room, and if you're not going to clean it, the cosmic queen is going to clean up for you. But so what are some of the dates or times for people to be out on the prowl looking for new opportunities to find love?
That's a great question. I'm going to look toward the moon. So I'm going to give the dates of the full moons and new moons in June, July, and August of 2022. So the full moons, of course, have that element of the wolves howling at the moon. So people are randy and ready to rock at the full moon. So the first one this summer is June 14th with a full moon in the sign Sagittarius with the sun in Gemini. Both of these are fun time signs. Gemini is an air sign and moon is fire. So you get fire and air together, it's ignition time. There'll be a lot of communication. There'll be a lot of optimism. Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign. Some people call it the party sign of the zodiac. So that full moon should be blast off. And it leads right into the summer solstice on June 21st. Which is the beginning of the season here in the Northern Hemisphere. June 21st through September 21st marks the summer season. So everybody's going to be getting their summer groove on. And that full moon is a kickoff. And now that Mercury is going direct, everything is going to be groovy as Venus transits into Gemini on the 22nd of June, the day after the solstice. So get back on those dating apps and make that love connection. The other thing in June that people need to know about is the new moon in Cancer. Now, that's June 28th, and that's when people are going to want to hunker down at home. You meet that date, they're going to invite you back and cook you dinner and show you a good time on their home front. So that's June. The other thing people need to know is that in June, Venus will be in the sign of Taurus. So in June, Mercury goes direct in Taurus on June 3rd, as I mentioned, big date, and then shifts into Gemini a couple days later, so the communication lines are open again. We begin the month of June with Venus luxuriating at home in Taurian terrain, increasing the kama factor, a Sanskrit word for desire. Think Kama Sutra in June. Venus wants more money, love, and sensual pleasures, but may not be actively seeking it while in Taurus. It may be a difficult time to throw off those extra pounds before you trot out in shorts, short dresses, and short sleeves, as Venus wants to indulge in all the treats and earthly pleasures. However, motivation to get out there and meet people and throw your hat in the dating ring may be lacking as Venus in Taurus wants to sit out on the front porch looking at budding trees and planets while sipping on a cocktail.
Oh, gosh. All right. So June 3rd, it's a big day.
Yes.
So use that energy, catapult forward. But if you're slow out of the gate, then you have June 22nd, which is the day after the summer solstice, to get your groove back.
Right. And don't forget that frisky full moon on the 14th of June.
Interesting. So something's going to happen.
Yeah, let's talk about June 22nd, when Venus is jettisoned into Gemini and meets Mercury, the messenger, in his home court, cavorting and communicating. The tide turns, and Venus and Mercury are all over dating apps and social media, trying to make that special connection while they throw a wide net and see which fish are caught in the dating ocean. Mars in Aries is restless and has been waiting for Venus to get her groove back so they can turn up the heat. Late June into July.
Great. And so that late June into July, that week, a lot of people take off because they want to spend time with family. So I can see a relationship speeding up and fast forwarding because of that time frame. And so June 21st is the summer solstice right before the 22nd. And this is another energetic time. And it's a time for strength and hope. What does the solstice represent to you?
Well, the solstice, if we look back through the history books and with the ancients, our ancestors, they would have a big fire at the solstice, and it would be a time of food, frolic, and frisky action.
I'll give you a minute to reframe this for people dating, but this is what the solstice represents to you.
It's a pagan love fest.
All right. So you talked about June and why people are going to get out of the gate, and it's a hot time to find love. And all these months are hot in their own ways. So speaking of hot, July is hot. And August is actually going to be hotter, which is interesting. But a lot also will happen astrologically in July. Let's start with July 5th.
Okay, July 5th, we've got a busy day. We've got some planetary stations as Mars transits into the sign Taurus until August 20th. Now, Mars is the action sign. And remember, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And we could say Venus indicates the love factor, like courtship and dating and getting to know each other. Mars is going straight for. So when Mars transits into Taurus, it's going to calm him down a little bit, and he's going to have to play Venus's game because Venus rules the sign Taurus. So Mars in Taurus is going to soothe the wild beast and domesticate him so that he can be better with courtship and dating and be on his best behavior without thinking of his final objective. So that should be good for women. It might be a little frustrating for men. And by the way, Mars is going to be in Taurus until August 20th. However, there's other energies that are active in July, such as Venus and Gemini until July 17th. So this is great for communication and dating apps and throwing the wide net, as I said, and just a lot of socialization, trying new things, going to new venues, and actually meeting people in person as well as over the internet. So the Venus in Gemini is going to really mix it up and get people, I think, much more adventurous and bold in their outreach.
That's good. I mean, this is the time to engage in activities outdoors that don't have anything to do with dating apps, like outdoor bars, rooftop dining, heading to the dog park for a walk. Just get out there and utilize the great weather and the opportunities. And people are still starving to connect. So this summer, there's going to be a lot of socialization. And I think people will be really excited about getting out there and being seen on the scene.
Right. The other interesting thing about July, though, you mentioned something earlier about the family, getting together with family. There's going to be a lot of Cancerian energy with the sun is in Cancer until it goes into Leo July 21st. But we also are going to have Mercury transiting into the sign Cancer from July 5th through July 19th. We're going to have a full moon on the 13th of July, full moon with the sun in Cancer, moon in Capricorn, and Venus will transit into the sign Cancer on July 17th. So what does that mean? Hey, make your dates around the water. Cancer is a water sign. Do some paddle boarding, do some sailing, do some swimming, have some beach time, make some arrangements to meet somebody, and then go off on a boat somewhere. So the Cancerian focus there in mid-July is all about family and the water and the emotions. People may be a little bit more sensitive. So where we had the Gemini and it was a frolically frisky free-for-all in June, in July, people are getting much more sensitive and touchy. So just make sure that your words heal and don't hurt. And if you're going to reject somebody, please do it kindly.
That's nice. And put on your copper tone and go out looking for that sailor out on the ocean.
That's right.
I think that's good.
Go find a lobster man. We're in
Head to
Massachusetts.
Gloucester.
Head to Gloucester and get a lobster man. We got a lot of them here in Massachusetts.
Oh, look for your skipper. Every month is going to have its own vibe and own flavor. And I love what you just said about the Cancerian energy that's happening in July. Don't forget your sunblock. And this is a great place, the wide ocean, to cast a wide net and be adventurous and go on that booze cruise and do something you would never normally do.
Right.
Pop adrenaline.
Early July, very good for those booze cruises. And actually then, in the later part of July, the energy will shift and we get into Leo, lucky Leo.
Okay.
And people, if they were having maybe not such good luck leading up to the 19th of July, Mercury goes into Leo, and it's a game changer. Right after that, on July 28th, is a new moon with the sun and moon in Leo. And that's when the summer ignites and the flames of passion are turned way up.
How great would it be to find the love of your life, the man of your dreams? Do you believe online dating would work if you had the right tools to be successful? Well, I have exciting news. I've created your Best Shot at Love Masterclass. I cannot wait to share with you what's worked for me in my life and for many of my clients that have helped over the years. If you enroll in this class, you have a winning mindset and believe in getting help before you start something new. If you're ready to see changes in your dating life and want to take action, check out my free webinar at shotatlove.co. If you decide you're going to choose another path, that you're worth it, and you're willing to enroll in the masterclass, you can also register at shotatlove.co. I designed this masterclass specifically for you to be successful. Please know that everything you're going to learn in these 9 modules and 6 coaching calls has been carefully curated for you so you can gain the success you truly want. I will be there for you the whole time. In the meantime, I wish you all the success, and I can't wait to hear about your story of finding love. I'm Kerry Brett, and I will be your mentor and friend through this incredible journey. Well, it makes sense. I mean, Leo the lion, the hunter. So everyone's going to be out on the hunt in August. So if it doesn't happen for you early June or July, this end of the summer.
That's right. Things are going to heat up. So it gets kicked off with that Mercury in Leo on the 19th of July, and then the July 28th new moon with the sun and moon in Leo. And then as we get into early August, it is on as we have the new moon on August 11th, the same day the Venus goes into Leo. So here we are. If you were slow to the uptake of finding a date or dates, you can make it all up in August.
So before we go to August 11th, let's talk about the great 888, the Lion's Gate. The portal opens. Why is this go time?
Okay, so interesting in the new thought movements and consciousness movements for the last, let's say, 20 years, we've been talking about the Lionsgate 88, which is a big portal date in the galactic consciousness community. It blasts open from the time that the sun transits into Leo this year on July 21st, peaks at the date 88, then will get ignited at the Leo new moon on August 11th. And the portal is activated every year during the Leo equinox, forcing purification of mind, body, and spirit in order to squeeze through the eye of the needle. In other words, you get to go to a new level if you want in your life and eliminate all those things that no longer serve. It's purification, but it's really an uplifting. There's a lot of energies coming in from the intergalactic systems that are bringing healing and upliftment to us here on planet Earth.
Okay. So if something doesn't work out, it's the way it's supposed to be, and it will shake out pretty quickly.
Right. I love the fact that the 8-8 is occurring there, as it always does on August 8th, but then it's followed by that Leo full moon. Well, it's the Leo full moon, but the moon is in Aquarius and the sun is in Leo. So it's like, okay, major consciousness shifts. So if people were fixated on, I've only got to date this certain kind of guy, or he has to be 6 foot tall and he's got to be a brunette and look like my first boyfriend, those fixations or obsessions through the window at that time between August 8th and 11th, and the consciousness will be much more open to let's see who shows up in my life.
Okay. So tell us the new moon and the full moon schedule of the summer.
Yeah, so in order now, everybody jot this down. June 14th, full moon with the sun in Gemini and moon in Sagittarius. On June 28th, we have a new moon in the sign Cancer. And in July, the full moon occurs on July 13th with the sun in Cancer and moon in Capricorn. On July 28th, we have a new moon with the sun and moon in Leo. And the lunar cycles during August are the full moon on August 11th with the sun in Leo and moon in Aquarius. And then on August 26th, we have a new moon in Virgo.
Okay. So lots of things can happen romantically because of the moon cycle.
Right. And the thing that is interesting, the full moon brings things full circle. Like a lot of things come out in the open. All the hidden is exposed, and it can be kind of a wild time. Lunacy has its root in the word lunar. So that's why people are kind of wild at full moons, especially in the summer. And the new moons always mark a new beginning to try something new. So the new moons, and it's weird because some years the full moons come earlier in the month and the new moons come later, and other years it's the new moons that come in the beginning. So here we are in the summer of 2022, and this year it's the full moons coming around the middle of the month. Like full moon in June is June 14th, full moon in July, July 13th, and full moon in August is the 11th. So we've got these mid-month full moons, and then we close out the months with the new moons. So in June, the new moon is at the end of the month. And it's interesting too, because it's not always usual, but the full moon and new moons are going to be in different signs. Sometimes they're in the same sign in the same month. But this year we're going to have that new moon in Cancer on June 28th at the very end of the month. We're also going to have the new moon in Leo on July 28th. And then we have the August 26th new moon in Virgo.
Okay. So it's going to be action-packed, and you said that Mars and Venus are relationship planets, and a lot is happening with them this summer. Is that true?
Yeah, we should probably give your listeners the scoop on their transits through different signs. And the other thing that's important for people to know is, for instance, especially with Venus and Mars transiting, if they're going through your sign, then you got to be on red alert, red alert, red alert. Venus is transiting my sign. There's 80% more chance that I'll make a love connection. And the other thing is, I gave all the dates of the new and full moons, but it's the birthday month anyway for Cancerians, Leos, and Virgos. So they're going to be having these moons always this time of year. That's not such a phenomena for them because it happens every year. But when we start looking at Venus and Mars, they can randomly be in different signs that aren't necessarily the signs of the summer month, Cancer, Leo, or Virgo. And that is the case this summer because we start the summer with Venus going through Taurus until June 22nd, which is usually the time of Gemini and Cancer. Venus then goes into Gemini from June 22nd through July 17th, which is not only good for Geminis, but all air signs such as Libra and Aquarians. Very good from that, basically June 22nd to July 17th. It's score time, air signs. Then Venus goes into the sign Cancer from July 17th through August 11th, which is the same day that the full moon is in Leo and Venus goes into Leo. So Cancerians, you always, summer is always your time, but you get the benefit of Venus going through your sign too, which doesn't necessarily always happen in July. And then we have Venus in Leo, August 11th through September 5th, which is good for Leo. Obviously, it's also their birth month, the beginning of August. And it's going to be good for other fire signs, such as the Aries and the Sagittarians.
You touched upon Venus. Can you talk about Mars?
Yes, Mars. Mars, as I said, has one goal in mind this summer, and he'll be looking for that action when Mars transits Aries from May 24th through July 5th. People may be impatient, impulsive, and they want it, and they want it now. Then Mars goes into Placid Taurus from July 5th through August 20th. And as I said, the men are going to have to play the woman's game. Men are from Mars, women are for Venus, and Mars is in Venus's sign. So chill out and take your cues from the ladies.
I like that.
Then on August 20th through March 23rd, 2023, Mars is in the sign Gemini, which is going to be very interesting because it's going to make people, again, very like, I've got to make that connection. Mars, again, is like, don't put baby in a corner. I've got to call this girl. People are going to be no holds barred because it's like, we're coming into that viral season of the fall, and I want to have made my connection before things start closing up or they start calming down. So Mars in Gemini is going to make people very, very impulsive, and they'll say what's on their mind, and they might say things that you don't want to hear, or they may say there's real truth. And the thing is that Mars is going to go retrograde from November through January. So that's going to kind of let you backtrack. That's a good time to maybe revisit past relationships and what did you do right and what did you do wrong. As we always say in Shot of Love, please don't recycle those exes. But Mars in Gemini, people may be thinking, do I want to be alone this winter? Let me call that ex-boyfriend and see what he's doing. Our advice is don't.
Right. It always happens this way, cycle-wise, before cuffing season. So the time to meet people is when the weather is good and people are out, and then they try to settle and lock it down during the fall before all the holidays start. So what are some of your tips around mindset for meeting new people? You're saying do things you normally wouldn't do, whether it's going out on the water, or some of your tips around some of the best or unexpected places to find someone special.
Right. So I would say in June through mid-July, definitely try things different. Venus is in Gemini. People are going to be more social. They'll be more likely to talk. Let's say you just go out to an outdoor bar or something. More likely you'll see people being socialized and friendly and coming out of their shells big time. So that's a good time to go to new venues and places you wouldn't go. Definitely go hear outdoor music, things where the energy is very light. Gemini is very flirty and very fun and festive, and let's chat. So people will be more communicative, social, while Venus is in Gemini. And then we get into that time when you might want to spend some time by the water, if that's accessible, whether it's the ocean or lakes or ponds. And that's July 17th through August 11th when Venus is in Cancer. That's the time, too, though, when people may be a little more touchy, a little bit more emotional. Tread lightly, be sensitive to other people's feelings. And that might also, people might be more prone during that time, mid-July to mid-August, to bring people home and having parties at home. So definitely go to parties that you're invited to, or maybe crash them, because parties are going to be big in that time period. People will be having events around their home.
Right.
So do go. If you do not know the host, but you have an invitation, check it out.
Yeah. I think be open and keep your heart open, but the summer typically is a time for summer flings, so some relationships will stick and some won't. And if it doesn't work, then there'll be something else. So if it becomes a tenacious time and feelings are getting hurt, it's okay to walk away.
You know what's interesting this summer, as I was looking at the patterns of the planets, specifically Venus and Mars, what I kept feeling was that it's a return to in-person connection. Yes, the apps are going to be great, but people are really going to effort to get out and connect in person. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do that, either out at restaurants, bars, venues, by the water, or as I said earlier, going to parties, going to hear music. And so my suggestion, especially with the Venus going through Gemini, through Leo, basically from June 22nd through September 5th, the whole summer, get out there and meet people in person, because this is the energetic of connection right now.
That's great. No, do more things that you love, and that will create new opportunities to find love. So is there a standout day that you can pick as a lucky day this summer?
Well, you know what I think is the luckiest day? And then we'll go through each month and pick out one. I'm like 8/11. August 11th is going to be kind of wild because it's the full moon and Venus goes into Leo. So there's a lot of Leo energy. It's the full moon. The sun is in Leo. The moon is going to be in Aquarius. Venus is in Leo. Group activities could be really fun at that time, but people are going to be just very heart-centered. Leo is the sign of the heart, of recreation. That's the other thing. Venus and Leo get out to those sporting events. We didn't even talk about that, but that's a big deal this summer too. Again, an in-person connection. And for those women, if you haven't figured this one out, there's a lot of men that go to things like baseball games. So check it out.
Or golf courses.
Golf courses. Or even better, if you don't play golf, go to the bar after golf is over.
Right. Just go where men are.
Shot at Love 101.
I love that. Well, Jill, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed in what we can expect this Summer of Love 2022. Where can people find out more about you or listen to your podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine?
Yes, you can find my podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, on all major podcast platforms, including Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Stitcher, Amazon, Buzzsprout, and more. And book a session with me through my website, www.jilljardineastrology.com, and sign up for my free newsletter and free resources at jilljardineastrology.com/free-resources.
Well, you're a huge resource to me, Jill, and I couldn't have dated or found love without you, since you predicted everything that's happened in my life. So thanks so much for your predictions this summer and coming back on Shot at Love. It was such a joy.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me, Kerry. It's going to be a summer of fun.
Great. And for now, this week, Shot at Love dating tips that are inspired by our guest, professional astrologer Jill Jardine. Here are the best dates astrologically for dating this summer. Number 1, in June, the 14th, which is a full moon, the 21st, the summer solstice, and June 22nd, the day Venus transits into Gemini. Number 2, July's best dates is July 13th, which is also a full moon, July 19th, when Mercury transits into Leo, and July 28th, the new moon in Leo. And now in August, keep in mind these times when dating, August 11th, which is a full moon, and Venus transits into Leo, August 20th, when Mars transits into Gemini, and August 25th, when Mercury transits into Libra. I hope you found some of my tips helpful this week. This is what Shot at Love is here for, to help you find love. Keep up the commitment to yourself and commit to helping someone else by sharing this podcast. Shot at Love is now airing on iHeartRadio Live, on Power Me Up Radio, Talk 24/7. Tune in to the Station with Heart on iHeart. Stay safe and stay tuned for more episodes. I'm Kerry Brett, and we'll see you next time.